Hello my Rosy readers and welcome back to my channel. It's been quite a while since I've last uploaded a video. Quite a long while. That's been mostly due to work and a whole bunch of stuff that's been going on over there. I can't do it now because I no longer have a job. Due to budget cuts from the company that's overseeing the whole process of the store itself, they cut my job due to those budget cuts. I was not the only one. But, that being said, I did low-key ask God for this. I did ask God, oh yes, if you want me to write, please give me some more time to write. And he's like, well, here you go, now you got all the time to write. So, I kind of asked for it. And though I would like to still keep getting money in, because I want to keep getting art from an artist on DeviantArt. That being said, maybe I can do a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter to get the funds to do that, so that way I can get that all done pretty quickly and have it published, the book that I want to have published for Memorial Day. I know it's coming up fast. It is coming up real fast. 1 month now. It is 1 month away. And granted, everyone would be like, oh yeah, you should be looking for a job. I'm not going to be looking for a job right away. I mean, I've done some word searches. I've done some job searches. And there's been a couple of people who are willing to help me look for it as well, and I thank them with all my heart. But I did need a break, and again, like I said, I asked God for some more time to write, and He's given it to me, and now I need to actually take that time and do it. So I have started writing. I have started writing a book. Probably not as far as I should be if I want to have this published in time for Memorial Day weekend, but I will get there. A lot of the issues that I've been dealing with has been plot points and trying to figure out all the little details. It is a mystery, and I like to have all the answers and all the clues that I would need for them to find laid out, and then I can work on the little details as soon as I get to them, which sometimes that happens. It's been happening a little bit more than I would have liked, but I am getting through it, so it's always a plus. So this story that I am working on is going to be called, I don't know, what am I saying it, but it is called Tom Gates' Mystery of the Shallow Grave, and it's based very heavily on Tom Sawyer. So the lead character is Tom Gates. His best friend is Riley Finn. It's based on Huckleberry Finn. And then we have Jim Harker, who is based on their friend Jim, who I don't know if you know, but there's 2 other books after the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn where Tom, Jim, and Huck go on a couple of adventures. The first one, or I should say the 3rd book, takes them around the world because Jules Verne was becoming big at that time, and so Mark Twain figured Tom Sawyer better go on a around the world trip as well, and so he sends the boys around the world. And then the next one, because Sherlock Holmes was also getting popular, he has Tom Sawyer solve a mystery, and that's kind of what sparked this idea, was that. I have not read the book. I did recently get it in an ebook format, but I'm also getting it in a physical book as well, just so that way I can have it, because I don't know how some people work with ebooks, but I like having the physical book in front of me. Okay? I just being able to turn the pages, like, okay, I feel like I can find this a little faster. I mean, granted, ebook has got its pros for sure, don't get me wrong, but for me, I gotta have the physical book. Not only that, you're not able to find everything in a digital digital format, and not everything's also in a physical format, so you gotta pick and choose, or find what you can. That being said, I was doing some research onto this, And one of the books that I have found for said research is called Lost and Buried Treasure of the Mississippi River by Netha Bell and Gary Skoll. And so this book is going to help give me ideas for the rest of the series, because some of the stories that I'm pulling from that also gave me inspiration was National Treasure was one. And so treasure hunting is obviously going to be a major part of this, and having these ideas on where these treasures could be, will really come in handy. And so I did pull the Mississippi River because the town it's called Washington Springs, but it is in Missouri and it's next to the Mississippi because, again, I was going for that Tom Sawyer feel. And so it's going to be next to the Mississippi. You're going to have the riverboats. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, the way I've got some things worked out, the adventures that he does have in there is kind of going to be split into two mysteries. First mystery is this one. Second mystery is going to be later on down the road, and I don't have all the details finalized for that one, and it can wait. I put it off to the side. Same thing goes for Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. That one's going to be split into two mysteries, and we will get to that point when we get to it, because that's definitely not the next one in the series, because the next one is going to be focused mostly on Independence Day, and so the whole theme is going to be the Revolutionary War, and the mystery that is going to be focusing on Johnny Tremain, the events of Johnny Tremain. Granted, since it's the events of the Tom Gates series is going to be taking place several years after the end of the Civil War, closer to 1880s, 1890s era, then it's going to be more of like a recreation of the Civil War, and rather than actually being the Civil War. So they're going to have, the other plan was to like kind of recreate some of the events, but then there's this whole mystery that comes into play as well. And so they're like, hold on, we gotta take a look at what's going on here. And of course, Johnny Tremain's sort of character, he's obviously not going to be named Johnny Tremain in this, but you can recognize who he is once you see him. He's, going to need Tom's help to figure out this mystery. And so the focus is going to be on them. And then, we're going to keep on going down the line, going through, referencing different American events, American holidays, American literature. Like I said, the main big inspirations for this was Tom Sawyer and National Treasure. We're going to have the American Girl Dolls series in here. Not all of them. I'm mostly going to be focusing on a few. Namely Samantha, Addie, Kirsten, Caroline, and Felicity. Those are the main ones that I'm going to be focusing on. I almost forgot Felicity was going to be in it for a moment. But that's because she's not been introduced in this first book yet. But Samantha is. Samantha is going to be a big part of it. More so than Felicity. But that's because, Samantha's like one of the OGs, So you got to have her. And Kirsten. Kirsten and Samantha. Because Molly doesn't quite fit. But then again, she's supposed to take place, 1940s era, whereas this is, like I said, supposed to be in the 1880s, 1890s, almost 1900 to 1910 era. And that is going to definitely come into play later, because they are going to meet some cowboys. They are going to be traveling to other parts of the U.S. They're going to go to Minnesota. That's where Caroline and a different group of people is going to be, like Little House on the Prairie. Their group is going to be there. We've got, I'm also going to be referencing Eight Cousins by Louisa May Alcott. That's going to be in that area. And then they probably might go to Kansas. I'm thinking they will. Mostly because I was thinking they might do a reference to Wizard of Oz because Wizard of Oz is American. But I'm not entirely sure because I have something else in mind also for Wizard of Oz. Well, but that's being held off for now. And just like with Molly, kind of. Well, no, that does take place like in the early 1900s because it was close to the Great Depression for the Wizard of Oz. But I am aiming for 1890s era because they are going to be going down to Texas as well. They'll have a little spot that they'll stop off in Arkansas, which is where majority of like the two mysteries that are based on Huckleberry Finn's going to be based around. That one is going to be called. Well, wait. Now I'll explain the different the four big cities in just a moment. So they will be going to Texas and they'll be getting to meet some cowboys because I also have an idea for a cowboy series, a cowboy mysteries series. Granted, there is already a cowboy mystery series called Brett King, and only a few books. A little hard to find. But once you find them, you'll be good for a little while. I do kind of want to build on that series as well, but also making my own. So Tom will be meeting those characters that I did create. Speed, but those characters are kind of supposed to be the Hardy Boys in the Wild West. So you kind of have all of this playing around. But then they might go east. I am not entirely sure, and I don't know if they'll go further west either. Out beside, Colorado Springs, maybe. Further west than that, I'm not entirely sure. I kind of wanted them to kind of hang a little, like this little area that they would go. They might, if I do like the aging up, like in some of the older mystery stories where you follow the characters as they age up and get married and all such stuff, they might go to New York. It might go to California, and experience some of the other stuff out there, and all the the different cultural phenomenons. Because the movies and the grapevines are in California. You got New York City, obviously, and New York, and all of that out there. So it's going to depend on where we go with the series. But right now, I've got a few ideas. I'm only at the beginning. We'll go from there, and we'll figure that out when we get to that point in time. Right now, I've just got these two, namely the Mystery of the Shallow Grave, and I was thinking that the next one might be the Missing Silver or something like that, because in the Johnny Tremaine story, there is some silver that goes missing, and so I was thinking that was going to be the basis of it. However, in this version, it's silver that was passed down to a specific one of the maybe one or two of the families. I haven't quite made up my mind on that one yet. I mean, one family's definitely going to have it, and they only just bring it out for the 4th of July because it was silver made by Paul Revere. So that's probably going to come into play, and it was stolen, and they got to find out who stole it, how to find it, and all this stuff. And like I said, I've actually got quite a few of the characters already figured out, and who's the culprit, and it's all of that stuff. There's just a few other little details that I need to figure out, and then, but like I said, those details are going to wait until I get to that book. Right now I've got this one to work on, Mystery of the Shallow Grave. And one of the hiccups, besides, the time constraints, because Memorial Day is next month. I've got 1 month. I've got like 20 chapters I want to write. And granted, I have started on it. It is well underway, about a quarter of the way done. So once I get through, but that's the thing, I can't exactly say 20 chapters because I'm not entirely sure how quickly this is going to go, but that's going to be roughly what it's going to be around. and one of the hiccups obviously will be, the time constraint and getting everything like edited and all of that stuff, and then formatted and published, which I would be doing at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and direct to, or draft to direct, which like publishes it on multiple other platforms as well. So once I get that, because I've published a couple of other novellas on those platforms before, they aren't giving me much money, which I can understand. They weren't the greatest. I need to go back and redo some work on those for sure, but I'm holding off on those because I'm like, they can wait. They got time. They're not the most important. This is. So that can be an issue. However, my biggest issue right now is the art. The cover. There's a specific artist I follow on DeviantArt, and I've purchased covers from her before for my fanfictions on fanfiction.net, Wattpad, and Archive of Our Own. And as a matter of fact, here they are right here as the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew fanfictions. But due to not having a job, I have to hold back on what I can purchase, and I've already given her the details for this cover, and so she's already given me a quote. I was planning doing this last month, so I already have the quote for this, and it's $250 to about $300 depending on, well, if I can get like a discount on it, or if I decide to use the discount on it, because I also pay her Patreon, and so I get a discount on it. That being said, I am trying to hold back on that, which is why I was bringing up the GoFundMe and the Kickstarter previously, because if I can get that, that will be great. However, I do have a backup if necessary. Yes, it is an AI cover. 3 options, to be exact, 3 AI covers, and I can use that as a placeholder until I get this actual cover that I really, really wanted. And I mean, yeah, I could actually, go into AI and give it the details that I gave her, but I want her art specifically for this cover. You see this? You see this art? That's what I want. That's what I really want for this. Because it's got the look that I'm wanting for this cover. For other books, I could probably do the different ones. But for this series, this is what I want. Because I want that look. It's because it's got to be in between. I want it to look like a mix of Hardy Boys and Tom Sawyer. It's literally what I want it to look like. And she can match those vibes for me. That being said, I'm open to other options. If someone can do it a little, cheaper, or if it's, like the Kickstarter, if someone can give me a cover that is even better than this, that would be great. But in the meantime, like I said, I do have 3 options, and here are these 3. You get them through Canva, which is what I used to create this video. We paid subscription to it, so I might as well use it. So this first one, as you can see here, 2 boys in the front, not exactly what I'm aiming for. I do have another one, a couple of other ones, but that was looking at like the Mississippi and not in a graveyard, and I wanted them to be in the graveyard. But this one is okay-ish. I'm probably not going to use it. I'm probably just like putting it up here to give you an option. And then this next one here, obviously no people in it, so it's a little easier to work with. And then this third one here is the one that I'm kind of leaning more towards as my placeholder for now until I can actually get this artwork, and then we'll go from there. But if I don't get the artwork in time, then I'll use this one. And if I can sell enough copies, because like I said, I'm going to be doing it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and draft to direct. And if I can get enough people to purchase it, because I'm gonna do ebook and physical, I'm definitely gonna do both, then I might be able to, not worry about ever getting a job again, two, be able to start paying her again to get the artwork that I want. And she's not the only artist that I get artwork from, so it would be nice to be getting art from all of them, and we can go from there, and we can see how this will go. Like I said, I asked God for the time to write, and he's like, here you go. So if he wants this to go very far, very fast, well, it's up in his hands. I just got to do my part of the bargain and get this written, which, once I'm finished this video, I will get back to it, and I might post a couple chapters on Wattpad. We'll see, get people interested, and then the third chapter will be the links to go purchase it once it's been published. I will try to do some stuff on Instagram as well, and a YouTube short, and we'll go from there. But yeah, if you are interested in all of this, all the details, you know, let me know if you like hearing about some of my story ideas and how I, you know, come up with some of these ideas and how I work on them. Let me know if this is a little bit better than, you know, doing like my previous videos of book reviews. Granted, I did mention several books, and I'm always going to be mentioning books regardless of if I do a review or not, so that way people know that there are more books out there, because my goal is to try and get people back into reading again. I mean, granted, I know that people are still reading, you know, they read text messages, they read ebooks from time to time, but in this day and age, you do need to step back and actually go at a slower pace from time to time, too. So, yeah, let me know what you think. If there's any more details you would like to know more about the Tom Gates series. I've done several attempts at this, and I mentioned several things, and I didn't even go over every single detail in this either. And so, yeah, I'll just have to go do another video if you would like some more details. But let me know in the comments below. Let me know which one you prefer for an AI cover as a placeholder until I get the actual cover that I would like to get and paid an actual artist to do. So yeah, let me know what you think. Got any other tips, or if you got any other tidbits, or even if you would like to become a beta reader, let me know. It'd be great to go more over this with you and share all the joy that I have with making these. Talk to you later. Have a good one.